Hello and welcome to Connecticut Power and Politics, our weekly deep dive into what's making news in Connecticut and who's making the news. I'm John Craven. Well, it was a last-minute scramble at the state capitol this week. Bridgeport lawmakers were hoping to push through a new casino plan, one that replaces an MGM resort with a smaller one from the tribes who own Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun. But with just hours left in the session, Governor Lamont shut that deal down. For years, MGM has promised to bring a luxury casino resort and thousands of new jobs to the Bridgeport waterfront.
House Bill 7055.
But in Hartford, that plan is stuck in neutral.
It's been something that's been talked about for years, certainly.
So this week, Mayor Joe Ganim has been frantically pushing a new plan. This one would let the tribes that own Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun build a smaller resort in Bridgeport.
If it's a Bridgeport casino, it could include hundreds, hopefully thousands of jobs.
But today, Governor Lamont nixed that plan. A spokesperson said this 11th hour proposal has not been fully vetted or reviewed, and with only one day until the end of session, it's not in the public's best interest to take up this matter. All right, that was Wednesday, and today we have State Senator Dennis Bradley here. You're one of the lead negotiators on this.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, so Dennis, for 2 years we've heard MGM.
Sure.
Now all of a sudden MGM's out and the tribes are in. What happened?
Complicated things, obviously, right? The state of Connecticut has for quite so many years had a compact which gave exclusivity to the tribes. They've been a partner to us and provided billions of dollars of revenue to the state of Connecticut. It's very difficult to break that compact without stopping the revenue that we currently get, which is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So allowing a new player to come to Connecticut was just not viable. So this is a viable plan that will allow for Bridgeport to get a casino and the state of Connecticut to have new revenues which are much needed.
All right, so you guys have been lobbying hard up at the state capitol. The mayor, Joe Ganim, has been up there too. He thinks the effort's paying off. Take a listen to what he told us.
This dialogue has been going on. I think it's gotten to a point where people are really starting to take a good look at it. Other people that were not supportive are supportive now.
Well, the Capitol, they are going to say,
Well, the mayor thinks that the effort is paying off, but the one person who really counts, Governor Lamont, says the deal isn't ready for prime time yet.
My sense is, the tribes deal still seems a little half-baked to me, so I don't know if it's going to be ready to go in a special session.
Baked, those are some strong words.
It's extremely frustrating. The governor asked us to give him time to be able to negotiate with the tribes. We gave him several months to do that. He publicly comes out and says, well, the negotiations are over, we're not able to move forward, and there will be no further negotiations. As a co-chair of public safety, along with my co-chair, Joe Berengia, we were working throughout this process of what we thought would be a viable deal. We presented it to Senator Kathy Olson, who's the vice chair of this committee. We have a plan. It is thorough. It's frustrating when people don't sit down and read the plan and understand where we're coming from and come out with public statements like that without really sitting everybody at the table and showing genuine leadership. I hope that moving forward, the governor sees that we've taken a lot of this proposition and we're able to incorporate them, and this is a very viable plan for the state of Connecticut.
I mean, doesn't the governor have a point here, though? I mean, this is almost certainly going to end up in a lawsuit. And I know you guys want to bring jobs and construction to Bridgeport, but if MGM or Sports Tech or anyone else sues, I mean, this could get mired in lawsuits for years. You're certainly not going to be able to get financing for the project.
Well, so there's a funny movie by Eddie Murphy that says "Welcome to America," and I think that's the message that I'd send to the governor and anybody else who's worried about lawsuits. America, unfortunately or fortunately, is built on a place where people sue people. Sometimes they're viable, sometimes they're frivolous. I'm not worried about private entities bringing lawsuit amongst each other. What I'm looking at is what we can do within the bounds of the law and what we can do to make sure the state of Connecticut is a viable state that's the tip of the spear.
But certainly you want to bring jobs as quickly as you can to your hometown.
Absolutely.
You look at the tribe's East Windsor casino. This thing was proposed years ago. They still really haven't broken ground. They say it's shovel ready, but they can't get financing. The second they shovel, MGM has said we're going to file another lawsuit. That thing may never happen.
Sure.
Aren't you worried that the same thing could happen in Bridgeport?
So what's stopping the tribes from building on East Windsor now, it's not a lawsuit because there is no lawsuit that's pending against them. So it's not that there's an injunction or anything in place. What's stopping them is simply politics. What we're asking for the governor is that he allows us now, we've allowed him to take the lead We're asking him to allow Senator Austin and I in the Senate to take the lead on these things. We think we can come together, have a cohesive group, a cohesive plan that allow these jobs and this project to move forward. Because what was happening before was a quagmire of Washington politics that was translated into Connecticut politics. I think we have a solution for that because all the players here are united and on the same page.
All right, so I know you've been meeting with the House Speaker. What kind of conversations have you had with other lawmakers? Because ultimately they're going to have to be on board.
Well, you're exactly right? And the legislature works as a team. We need to make sure everybody's on board. New Haven was promised quite a bit by the MGM proposal. We have to make sure that their demands and their wishes are satisfied, and we have to look at the state as a whole. It's not just what's in the best interest of Bridgeport. Obviously, that's what I care about. Senator Austin has her concerns with the eastern part of Connecticut. New Haven has their concerns, and there'll be others at the table who will have their concerns. We're going to try to satisfy them all, but what I look at here is not an economy of less, it's an economy of more. We have an opportunity to do more here, and we have plenty of ways that we can cut the pie that everybody gets their fair share.
Now, you know, one of the things that Lamont wants is like some sort of grand bargain here. He says, you know, like we've not been able to deal with gambling in this state in an overall way in a long time.
Sure.
He doesn't want to do a halfway plan. He wants something that kind of makes everyone happy. The plan that I was told was that they want the tribes to pull out of East Windsor. That makes MGM happy because they don't have any competition up in Massachusetts anymore. And then MGM in turn would back out of Bridgeport and let the tribes have Bridgeport. Is that possible to find a deal like that?
Well, listen, it's going to be very difficult to make everyone happy. And I'm not a lobbyist for MGM. I wish them well. I think they're a wonderful entity. And I'm not a lobbyist for the tribe, and I wish them well as well. All I can do is work within the guise of the law, right? And right now, we have a compact that gives them exclusivity. If the tribe decide they want to build in East Windsor and the legislature, prior to me being there, has granted them the ability to do that, all I can say is God bless them. What I know is that now the plan that's for Bridgeport, that's being proposed, where the tribes will build in Bridgeport, it's a viable plan. It follows the compact. It follows the law. If other entities feel that there's a lawsuit that might be eminent, then that's their prerogative.
Has MGM been brought in on these talks at all?
Not currently. I know the governor was talking to MGM previously. I know a lot of the people there who in the Capitol lobby us with frequency. I speak with them with frequency, and we're trying to be as transparent as possible. And I understand, being a realist and a pragmatist, that sometimes not everybody's going to go home happy, and they will have their recourse in the court of law. But we want to make sure that the state is moving forward, and that this plan is a holistic plan. It doesn't incorporate private entities, but it looks out for the best interests of the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, let me ask you about competition, because I mean, we already have 2 casinos in the state. If East Windsor happens, that's a third. MGM's already operating in Springfield. There are casinos going up in Boston. There's a casino down in Westchester County. It seems like a lot of casinos for a small area. I mean, can we support all that?
What I look at in Bridgeport is not a casino plan. This is an entertainment center. This is a place, Bridgeport is known as Park City. This is America's playground where adults can come and have a good time, where they're not just going to run into casinos, but they will be casinos, but waterfront property with deep ports, on the Gold Coast, with so many amenities. And I think that this casino just puts us leaps and bounds ahead of where we should be. So it's not about whether gaming is viable. It's an entertainment site that will definitely be viable.
All right, Dennis Bradley, from State Senator from Bridgeport. We wish you luck. Everybody is rooting for the Park City.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Dennis.